Well, thank you again for coming to this event. It's been a premier event. I think there's been a lot of value to the community and to leaders to come to all the events lately that the Chamber has been putting on, and this is just one of those premier events. And I'm excited to moderate it. I don't really like that word. When Bobby said it, I'm like, you know, the moderators in the last few weeks has not been a good word. So I have no affiliation with CNBC or anything of that nature. So I'm just the guy that's going to ask the questions. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, I'm excited.
I promise you not to give a Donald Trump remark. How about that?
Yeah. Well, I don't plan on pitting Mayor Morales against himself. So that's not the intent. You know, a quick question, Mayor. You've been the mayor for 2 years now, just kind of broad spectrum here, you know, and I've just seen you like you're just a little ant going everywhere. You are everywhere in this community, and I just thought, did the mayor know that it was going to be that busy of a life and being the mayor? I mean, give us your perspective on that.
You know, it is an interesting question. I asked Mayor West Perry after I got elected. I said, you know, what am I actually looking at as far as time? And he goes, well, let me just tell you this. You can put in 20, you can 40, it's up to you. So after about a full 2 or 3 months into this position, I went back to Mayor and I said, you told me 20 hours. He goes, no, what I said is you can put in 20 if you want, or you can work at 40 hours. And Corey, to answer that question is, yes, I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of energy. This is, you know, when you get into that seat and it's your community, it's kind of like running your business. You want to give it everything you can to make it successful. And so the excitement that you feel in this community with the business development, 2014 was just an exciting year. And so there was no reason not to have the energy and to be out there and to be into everything. So that's where that comes from.
Good. Well, I'm glad you have the energy because you wear me out from just seeing you in all those places. So I want to ask a general question, and it's really just about the economy. You know, there's a lot of talk about the economy, and that's what this event is about. So I'll just tell you, I have a lot of questions here, a lot of topics that I want to cover. I don't know that we're going to be able to get to them. We can spend all day with these questions, but as you respond to these questions, and I'm going to be taking notes, it may take me off in a tangent and all. So just want to keep that in the forefront.
Well,
if you would,
let me just tell you, once I get past the fear factor, we're on. So get ready.
All right. So let's just generally speak about your perspective on the economy as a mayor. Where does the economy stand today from your perspective?
Well, I think to answer that question, you have to kind of go back a little bit. So as Bobby mentioned, I got sworn in 08, 09, 08. And in those first few years, there was not much happening in Midland. We didn't have much of a budget to work with, and it was just quiet. So then you fast forward, and all of a sudden 13 and 14 come around, and as I was campaigning to get the mayor's seat, knew that 14 was going to just be a very busy year and an exciting year for Midland. So the oil hits $100 a barrel, and things are just in full force. I mean, Amtrak speed. You know, as I got elected, I went to Courtney Sharp and the city staff and said, you know, we have got to be able to get out in front of the public and let them know that we understand, we the council know what's coming before us. $100 barrel means businesses are going to be popping up, traffic's going to increase. Are we going to have enough housing? Where's the water? Because you were coming out of the drought. There were still a lot of concerns about the water issue. Where is Midland going to be today? Where's Midland going to be 10 years from now? And where's Midland going forward? As I was campaigning and as I was talking, we talked a lot about comprehensive planning. Midland did not have and does not have a true comprehensive plan that prepares us for the future. So it was one of the number one topics, issues that we had to address is get on top of this comprehensive plan, get it in place, which is going to take about 15, 18 months. So you've heard a little bit about that, Tall City Tomorrow, where we've had some town hall meetings, and it allows you, the citizens, to get engaged with the city staff and our engineers to help prepare Midland. Where does Midland want to be? Where do you want Midland to be? What do you want your neighborhoods to look like? What do you want your parks to look like? What about roads? You know, it covers every dynamic of this community, and so that was important that we got that out immediately as I got sworn in. And then we talked about this message of understanding Midland's growth. And sure enough, I mean, the traffic increased, we had a large increase of oil and truck traffic. We had our water, which was addressed by Mayor Perry and continued with this current council. We're in good position and we can talk more about it, but we're in good position with our water. We knew that we had to have water if we wanted to be a world-class city and if we wanted to economically continue to thrive. And so that puts us in a good position. And it was very interesting. In 2014, I made a lot of statewide appearances talking about how has Midland got water? Where did that come from? Well, Mayor Magruder and that council back then, buying that ranch and putting us in a good position today, that's what helped us. Good planning. And so we use that same model today. This city council, previous councils, putting down groundwork, blueprints for the future. So to answer your question, we're in great position. We're in good position today. We had a dynamic 2014. It's softening a little bit right now. So 2014 was kind of the year of planning. 15 has been the year of shovel, which we're going to talk about a lot of the dirt being moved. And I see 2016 as a year of ribbon cutting. It's going to be good.
Good. Well, the economic indicators, are showing obviously a little bit of a downturn, but the fact is, over the last 5 years have been unprecedented growth in our economy of recent past. And so, we hit that pinnacle in 14, and so now we're in 15. So, if you were to say, what are those top challenges today that we face? What are those challenges as mayor that you're facing?
Sure. It's still traffic congestion. It's amazing that oil at $40, $50 barrel oil, that the traffic is still backed up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock. Well, this council, and they're over there going, we know that. It was a challenge of trying to find the revenue to build these roads. So revenue was an issue. Acquiring right-of-way, anything that we do now in this community, because we're beginning to get landlocked and we're growing, we grew so rapidly, is getting right-of-way. Our transportation division is working. I got to give hats off to Jose and that team for working so hard to keep the movement. We didn't stop. We kept chipping at it. But road development, when I came out in 2014, here's what we said. We need to get La Mesa Road finished, because that's an embarrassment that it's taken so long. But we did. We got La Mesa Road built. And just that project alone, we've seen how the impact that it's had on the east side of town, but also it's the thoroughfare into downtown, and it helps us alleviate some of the traffic on Big Spring Street. So we got La Mesa Road completed. Fairgrounds Road was a project that we knew that we could take from 2 lanes to 5 lanes, which brings a lot of excitement. There's Mockingbird Road that we're working on. We're calling it Mockingbird/Sparks Road. He's working so hard on it. J. Ross Lacey never lifted, he never stopped pounding that hammer on Briarwood County Road 60. It's a 3-mile redevelopment going from a 2-lane to a 5-lane. And poor staff, Lacey was in their face every day. So if we get these certain roads built, it helps alleviate traffic in the inner city, off the loop. It helps us with growth that's going to happen in the future. Yeah. So road was one of the big ones. Water, we addressed immediately. Again, we acquired T-Bar Ranch, and I'll just real quickly wrap that up. Previous council, Mayor Wes Perry, Keith Stretcher, worked very hard on getting us T-Bar. 68-mile pipeline. It was a 48-inch pipeline that could deliver up to 30 million gallons of water we needed. It was a $220 million project, the largest municipal project ever. It's in place. Water's coming in. In 2013 and 14, we purchased Clearwater Ranch. Gives us, it's about 18 miles south of the T-Bar. We blend that with the T-Bar, bring it to Midland. Now we've got another 60 years of water. We still have our Paul Davis well field, which is bringing water. And then, of course, we're using the CRMWD. So, do we ever stop talking about drought now that we have 60? No. We are going to continue maintaining those drought restrictions, continue doing 2-day watering, and hoping that will continue to develop business and economics. So probably those are the 2 big ones.
Okay. Well, I know infrastructure is huge in development, and especially in recruiting businesses and diversifying overall. So it's good to see that the city is looking further out than just today. They've got a plan ahead. So.
And I don't mean to interrupt.
Right.
Now I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
So now, and then housing.
I can interrupt you as a moderator.
Yeah. Housing was another one that was really at the top. How do we address this housing, the influx of the population? We were getting out there early on and saying, this population, if we can continue growing in this community at 5% growth rate, let's just say, we could be in 2028, we were saying we could be at 180,000 people. That's huge. How do you handle that? Where's the housing going to be? So council did a very good job of working with the developers, trying to improve zoning, working with neighborhoods, alleys, how do you pick up trash? I mean, all of that was a big discussion, but the true conversation, what is affordable housing? How do we get affordable housing? And especially in a market where Midland, everything is 30 to 35% higher than anywhere else in the state or nation. So I think this council did a fantastic job of working on the housing.
Yeah, it's good. I've been introduced to people and moving to town, and especially in the role that I am, and that has, the housing has alleviated some. And of course, that helps when we have the more apartment complexes, more houses being developed and things. So it's been a good plan. Working on, when you talk about development and infrastructure, there's a lot of activity downtown, and I want to get your perspective. There's kind of a real emphasis on downtown. So tell us what's going on downtown. What are you doing? What's the plan? What's the city's workings, et cetera?
Sure. So it has been my vision for a long time. I tell this story that even before I was on council and being a restaurant owner, being a part of the Permian Basin Restaurant Association, having my restaurant friends downtown, understanding, listening to mom and dad talk about, how they would come downtown and shop, going to the Woolworth, the Five and Dime, going to the Ritz Theater, that it was fun, it was exciting, you could work and play a little bit. And so, I remember just working with several committees saying, how do we get this life? How do we put some life back into these empty downtowns? Never could make any efforts go forward. It just never would come to fruition. And I always said, this is only going to happen if the city gets behind it. Fast forward, get on council, begin to chip at it even faster and better. And now I'm the leader, I'm the mayor, and I'm like, I'm working on this. I'm doing it. And so I work with staff. I formed another task force. We began to identify the empty buildings that we had. We began to address some of the problems, the concerns. Number one was parking. We have no parking for downtown. And so we're excited to say that we have a parking garage now behind the lofts. The lofts are our first residential development downtown. And so the lofts were the first parking garage. We have completed another agreement where we'll have a second parking garage very soon. The buildings. The demolition, there were eyesores, and people said, you shouldn't take down buildings, and I agree, we shouldn't take down buildings, but there were buildings that were in position that needed to be removed so that we could see the sunlight and understand that we could develop. You take it out, and then you have a better idea of what could go there. So we removed the Mid-America and the Executive Building. Very good job of demolition and removing the debris and so forth. Today, on a temporary basis, we would like to see some temporary asphalt, ask the mobile food vendors to come in, park their vehicles, sell some food, see how that goes. Just try it. Give some new ideas and bring some new life to downtown. So that project went well. We broke down on Municipal Court. And that building is going to be a 30,000 square foot building. It was paid for by cash and from our reserves. It is going well. It will be ready here in the next year and a half, but we're very excited about having a new municipal building that will take us 30 years out with new technology and help you who go through there to be able to get business done and get back to work. Moving forward, we started the demolition on the Midland County Courthouse. And everybody knows kind of the story behind that. I'm not going to get into it, but the city bought it. And we used the tax increment reinvestment zone money, which is no longer in existence, but we took the remaining money and took down those two buildings that I just mentioned, and that's what we're demolishing that property with. Once it's removed, then we are talking with a group called the Santa Rita Hotel, who want to put boutique hotel, beautiful rooms, restaurants, they want to put a workout facility, saloons, and then improve the area, the infrastructure, and then they would like to flow in, and we would like to team up with them and improve Centennial Park. Centennial Park, we're talking about spending $4 million on there to bring more room in there, to have more outdoor activity. It would be my goal to see concerts and people working out and doing all kinds of activity every weekend. So we're talking possibly a splash pad, more park space, maybe a stage where you can have outdoor concerts. So just a lot of opportunity. We're engaging with the community about that discussion. And then we'll talk about Midland Center. The Ritz, PBS is looking and going over there. The Lofts, 80% occupied, I understand, as of today. Concho is looking at a building right across the street that they own to revitalize. As I mentioned, there's a parking garage that's going to go behind there that the city, Doubletree, and Concho have all partnered up to build. So it provides parking for Doubletree and Concho and for the citizens. And everything that we do, we're trying to figure out how does it benefit the citizens, the taxpayers, and we want to make sure that they get a good return. And lastly, let me just say this. All the property owners combined downtown in the last 2 to 3 years have put in over $121 million into their buildings. That's phenomenal work.
All right, you brought up Midland Center.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it and what's going on, and what is the city council thinking about that? What's the development, and what are the advantages, et cetera? Kind of a...
Let me just get up here. So, so the Midland Center, which we're in today, is it has been a great building. It has really done its due justice for us over the years. We have an opportunity to move forward to rebuild this Midland Center that we have outgrown. Today we see about 560 people in here, and you probably could add another 100. This community is about 140 to 150,000 people, and I just mentioned that we might be at 200,000 people. This center cannot keep up with that demand. Our churches, our foundations, our nonprofits, the city, everybody uses the Midland Center. The infrastructure is worn out. The technology is not even in existence. The staff here does a fantastic job of making it look like it's a new building, but it's very old. The boiler system is worn out. And so all we're going to do is, if we invest any more money into the Midland Center, is just putting a Band-Aid on it. So City Council had a discussion, said, as we're doing Santa Rita, as we're doing Centennial Plaza, why not do the Midland Center? Why not take advantage of it now and fill in this whole block and bring the live, work, play, some life to downtown even more so? The whole beauty of this is that it can be paid out of the hotel motel tax fund. That money, unless you stay at the hotels all the time, outside visitors are going to pay for it. Outside spending is going to pay for it. And so that's the real beauty, is that we can get a Midland Center, and I'll just mention some options. We could revitalize it. We could take the existing building, put some lipstick, and try to make it look pretty. Or we could, as you know, there's the Midland Center, and then the Chamber of Commerce is behind it with the Midland Development Corporation. We could do an option 2 where we could increase this space and keep the chamber in there. That would be an option. And then option 3 would be to take advantage of this full space all the way to the front and remove the Chamber of Commerce, find them a new home, and have probably about 26,000 square meeting space. So what we need and what we're hearing is we need more meeting space. We need more space for bigger events. We need a building that can keep up with the times. And I think personally it would be an eyesore if we have a beautiful Santa Rita, Centennial Plaza, and then having this outdated building. So I'm fully going to get behind this campaign to bring in a new Midland Center.
It's funny you mentioned that from a facility standpoint, that the infrastructure is really decrepit and just not where it needs to be. I can identify that with that because the hospital was in that same position several years ago, where we wanted to maybe renovate the existing building, but the infrastructure was so bad it would cost millions of dollars just to get it up to snuff. And our board said, that's not the smartest move. The smartest move is we need a new patient tower. So you see what happened and what a facility that looks like now.
Yes.
So I think Midland Center is kind of on that same plane, and I'm supportive of that, and I'm glad to hear you say that. My understanding is that the Midland Center turned down well over 100 events last year. Over 100 events, because they didn't have enough space. They couldn't accommodate those larger venues.
Yes.
Having larger meeting space would create more availability of those events, which more visitors, more conventions, and those people are staying in the hotel motel, which would pay for this piece. So I think that's maybe what people might be concerned with, is like, well, you're spending $39 million to do this whole building. Where's that money coming from? It's from the hotel motel tax, and you already have money in that ready to go.
That's right.
So
that's right. Corey is right on. The $39 million what council has given direction to the city managers, the staff, is we do not want to exceed 39 million. So if we're going to redo this, we're going to rebuild, your budget is at 39. Now, if you can come in lower, get after it. But again, as you heard me say, everything in Midland, Permian Basin, cost of construction, cost of living is much higher than anywhere else. I'll use road development for instance. Every community within 200 miles of Midland is rebuilding their roads. We need new. TxDOT just received all of that new funding and have hired out all the big contractors to develop highway roads. So we are challenged with construction costs. But at the same time, you know, we've got to stay, just like a business, stay within budget. It is being offset by the hotel motel, which is great. But we have an opportunity to put something dynamic here that fits in with the model that we're trying to do.
Okay. Good. That whole play with downtown. Obviously, downtown is not the only place that we want to develop and grow and all. And I want to move into another little subject. And I say a little subject. It's really a group called Midland First. And for those who aren't familiar with Midland First, it's really a collaborative effort between the private sector, the public sector, nonprofits, foundations, and all. It's a collaborative effort of a group that the chamber got together probably back in 2012 when really the economy was ramping up, and we thought, you know, this city, if we don't watch it, it's going to get too far in front of us, and we need to bring leaders together to figure out what are we doing. We don't need to work in silos. We need to work together. So let's bring those collaborative efforts together, those ideas together, and let's develop this group called Midland First. So there's some thought-provoking leaders on that group, and so Midland First is thinking about what does the community look like in the future, and they're working with you, and it's all about this quality of place.
Yes.
To diversify, to bring people here that they can enjoy, etc. That's kind of where Midland First is headed. So from your perspective, you know, if we're working to develop a quality of place, what do you think, Midland, as mayor, what do you think maybe you have achieved so far as that quality of place? What's occurred?
Yeah, oh, great question. So, you know, we are blessed with the beautiful sunrises, the beautiful sunsets. I personally love to see the tumbleweeds and the outdoor life, and you know, what we have out here. It is, in my opinion, some beautiful territory. I love being outdoors. I love when I see kids outdoors. I love when I see anybody outdoors. And so I got on the Parks Committee, you know, in 2008. Been on there since, and it's been exciting to see the work that's taken place over the years. But let me just kind of, let's talk about quality place outside. So to date, the city councils over the years have improved our park system. We have upgraded playground equipment, 22 parks, 22 new sets of playground equipment. We're doing about 6 a year. You're getting these new fun playgrounds where at Hogan Park, for instance, you can actually stay on the whole set, like an obstacle course. It's rubber coated, it's safe, it got soft pads, not the metal butt burning ones that I grew up at Dennis the Menace Park. And your kids can have different enjoyments from, you know, the bars and the slides, the swings. In addition to that, we're putting in the picnic tables, we're putting in covers, new shade covers, which makes it exciting. We're bringing in the trail system. We have a master hike and bike trail system plan that has been approved by the city council. But in the individual parks, you're seeing that we're putting in crushed granite, softer on your knees, more of an outdoor environment. It's exciting to be out there. We have 2 disc golf courses. If you don't know what that is, it's on the park on Wadley, on Sidwell, where they're throwing the disc golf. That's a new sport that's hit Midland, and it's becoming a tournament recreation program. Our municipal golf course, we just put $2 million into it. It's recognized statewide, people, statewide, and so we're something to be very proud of. But I would say we probably have 12 more parks that we're going to improve, and then the splash pad that we added out at the sports complex has been a treat. We opened that up to the public this summer. We had a lot of use. Doug Russell Pool. If you didn't get a chance to get by there this summer, you missed out. But what we did is we improved Doug Russell Pool. We said, do we close it down? What was going on is it was just outdated, it was leaking. What do we do? Do we put a Band-Aid, or do we do a Midland Center, or do we give it a new and improved look? We scrapped it, put in about $3.5 million, $4 million, I think it was $3 million, and put in a new equipment in there so kids could have fun. You can go do lap pools. Here's the ticker though, this summer versus last summer. 22,000 people used it in 2014, and this year we saw 53,000 people use it. How about that? That was a home run, coming in everywhere. Revenue, it went from like 30,000 to like 100,000, and astronomical numbers. And so, very exciting, very positive. But see, Corey, that's economic development. That's bringing in outside visitors. That's giving our citizens an opportunity to have quality plays, and they're spending money.
Right.
It's economic development. Sports is quality plays is economic development, and that's what we have to understand. So, to answer your question, we've done a lot of activity out there. MLK Center, we could use another community senior center. Washington Park, we hope to come back and reinvest very soon and upgrade that pool. We probably need a third pool, which will bring a lot of quality play. So we're really, really trying to get the kids, people out in front of the TV and outside.
That's good. You know, quality of place, I think, is going to be one of those pieces. I know that's important to me. When I'm recruiting a new physician in town and they have a young family or not, but they're coming to Midland, and we're trying to recruit a strong medical professional here, quality of place is important. That's one of the pieces they look at. You know, what does Midland have to offer them and their families? Not just the work environment, but what can we do outside of work? So I think that's important.
And let's talk real quickly, public safety. You know, our police force, growing population. And we, 2014, there's a quick story, is we were able to take out about, we usually take out about 12, 18 cadets out of the academy, put them on the force. It cost the taxpayers about $150,000, $180,000 to put them in uniform, put them in a vehicle, get them their pay, insurance, give them a gun and all that, get them to work. Well, in 2014, when the labor shortage was going on and the oil and gas industry was booming, we lost 24 out of 26 officers that we had put out on the field. That kind of hurts quality of place a little bit. It affects it. Crime goes up. Do we have enough people? And then it was an issue that this council took very seriously. And so we didn't give up. We kept combating and chipping at it. Our academy continues to stay pretty full. To this day, we continue to put people through. Our police force, I would say, is down about 5 officers. So for the most part, we are keeping up with that demand. The fire is the same way. Training those firefighters. We built a new fire station. We got another fire station in the pipeline. This community is growing. We've got to keep up with that quality of place.
That's good. I want to come back to the hike and bike trails. I've got an idea later on if we can get to it, but because I think that's going to be important. Quality of place is it's also about not just the environment, but the other thing that people look for is education in the schools.
Yes.
All right, so tell me what's the city doing with the current environment that our school is you know, we've got performance issue that's been made light to the community. What can the city do to help MISD in that environment for academic performance?
Yeah, it is a tough question. You know, the way that our government system is set up is you've got the school board and you've got your city council, and they're 2 separate government bodies, and we really can't tell the school board much. But I think as mayor, and what I've tried to do in the last 2 years is be as actively involved as I can with the ISD by getting into the schools. If I can support our teachers whenever they call and say, you know, we would sure love for you to come read or talk about the election system, or how does city council work, how do government affairs. If I can get in there and support our teachers in that manner, and the city council in the same way, I think that's a step. During bonds, when they come up and we're talking about new facilities, how do we get engaged in that conversation? We just opened up the 3 new elementary schools, and I was there for every one of those ribbon cuttings, as well as some of the council members, because it's important that we support RSD. Regardless of how everybody feels, we have to support them. We have to do what we can today with what we have. Now, there is a lot of work, and there's a lot that I don't know that the superintendent's working on with the school board and those other groups that may be out there who believe in our system and want to do their part. As a mayor, I'm asking, always invite me. I want to sit at the table. I want to be a part of the discussion, because who knows when that opportunity that I might be able to take the city and we can partake in that conversation and assist you. The joy, the excitement to see those new facilities open up and see the teachers and the kids excited about their school and wanting to learn, I think improves scores. That helps. Today, the city helps with the sports complex out there at Grande, the football stadium. We help with some of the offsetting some of the costs so that the school doesn't have to feel that, so they can reserve some of their budget for education. Cross guards, we pay for that, the city, so that it takes away from some of their budget. So anything that we can do to Memorial Stadium is another opportunity, which we can talk about here in a minute, that we could get engaged that helps the school system not have to spend, so they can spend it on their teachers and spend it on the students and help that education.
You know, I know a lot of, at our annual meeting with the Chamber, one of the things that we talked about is a call to action, and for the community to educate themselves on what is going on, and obviously education is a big piece of that. And you know, so I know we have some friends that go to one of the new schools, Fasken, but Fasken Oil and Ranch has also kind of stepped up, even as an organization, to support the school. I mean, their employees are actually going and they do volunteer work at Fasken. They've kind of adopted that school, you know, and I think that concept is good to have, if people can get involved in that, and they can go in and educate these students and give them a different perspective on that. And that also gives the teachers and everything else a different perspective. And
I know we're talking about education, but that same attitude, that volunteerism model works community-wide. And that there's one thing I've learned from this community, being in this seat, is the community support from the foundations, church, nonprofits. It's amazing what's going on every day. Every day there's something somebody's giving. The oil and gas companies, how much they give. We know they gave $6 million to ISD for teachers, but what they give to this community is incredible, and it always gives me goosebumps. So you're right on. You know,
Midland has always been known as a very philanthropic and giving community. I hear that often, and how people get involved and do other things outside their work, which is very valuable to growing a community. That's a quality of place issue too for us. You mentioned sports complex.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
All right.
So talk about that. That brings me to a big topic, which you probably know, and that's the 4B tax. Tell us about the 4B tax. What has it accomplished to date, and what is our plan for 4B in the future?
Sure. So we have a tool that's called the Type 4B, the 4B sales tax, which is a quarter of $100 that comes out of $100 that is applied to the sports complex to help operate and maintain, help with capital expenditures, and it helps, and it's paying off the bond. So today there is a bond that is at the sports complex. It can be paid off anytime. The ending period though is 2023, and we have an opportunity to take that 4B. Well, before I get there, let me just say the sport complex, if you look at it today, it looks brand new. It looks phenomenal. It's painted. The seats have been updated. There's more amenities out there. As I just mentioned, we put a splash pad out there. The parking is always kept up. It offers a lot of opportunity for other groups to use it for different functions, such as concerts, church revivals, school functions. The band use it, the GMFL use it, high school use it, outside visitors use it. The baseball portion of it is done very well. From an economic impact point, I think I've heard numbers that it brings in about $20 million just from an economic standpoint. And so that 4B has kind of paid and allowed for all of that to happen. That about a quarter, that 1/4 from $100 has helped pay and maintain that facility. It's been a very good project for Midland and amenity for Midland and for outside visitors. In addition, if we look at this beyond the sports complex, look at all the hotels that have been built out there. Look at all the restaurants. We see the new H-E-B coming, the new strip center. There's a church. We're talking about Trade Winds Boulevard, eventually, hopefully one day getting built that will bring more retail. Housing's out there, the new schools out there. So much has come because of what this sports complex has accomplished, what it has done. So the City Council has said, you know, if it made that type of an impact in that part of our community, what could that one quarter, I got a lot of quarters to explain, what could that one quarter do for this community? It generates about, on average, $10 to $11 million, depending on the economy, per year. We could take that money, and this is where it gets very, and it's not hard to understand, but we could take that money and apply it to citywide, to Midland citywide. We could take a park, for example. Let's take Hogan Park. Beautiful park, wonderful park today. It's a little outdated. We have baseball fields out there that have potholes everywhere. We have soccer fields that have holes everywhere. The grass sometimes grows, depends on the drought. We have our Bill Williams softball complex. We have a dog park out there. The Hispanic Cultural Center is housed out there, Sibley Nature. It's a very big park, 80 acres, does a lot for us. What if we took a portion of the money that we get every year, or let me just back up. So let's say we identified this as a specific project that we want to take to the voters, to take that money and say, let's just take a bulldozer and start from scratch on Hogan Park, and let's inject $20 million into Hogan Park. Let's put in tournament baseball fields, tournament softball fields, tournament soccer fields, and everything, the picnic area, the playground area, and let's upgrade it so that all of Midland can use it. And we don't have to leave Midland anymore to go do tournaments. We can stay right here in Midland, Texas, and have outside spenders come in and spend 30–40% of that quarter of that money that we raise here in Midland, Texas. So that is something that I believe as mayor, and being involved in this community and understanding how the tools that we have out there, and specifically the 4B, how it could impact our community. We could take these facilities, these amenities, and improve them. The language, the state legislature, the way that the language reads is that it allows us to use it for a lot of different options. And so what we, the City Council, need to do is strategize a campaign, get a group, get behind this, take it to the voters and say, folks, we can bring to you 10 projects, specific projects, show you some conceptual designs and say, take this park, take this amenity, this facility, and we can improve it with these dollars over a period of time and have outside spenders pay for it. How about that?
That's good stuff, and I think some folks that I've
I didn't get a clap.
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah. He was very energetic about that. You know, I've had some folks talk to me and say, okay, so we're looking at paying this sports complex off early, possibly in 16.
Sure.
Obviously, it's a project that the 4B paid for, and it was a very successful project. And what you're presenting today is when we pay that off, the 4B tax kind of kind of dies, so to speak. And so if we want to continue with the 4B tax, it's going to have to go before the voters, and the voters are probably more likely are going to say, okay, what are you going to do with that money?
Yes.
You know, that's money coming out of their pocket to pay for projects, and they want to see, they think 4B really comes back to that quality of place.
Yes.
And I want to echo your sports piece on development there. The CVB, Convention Visitors Bureau, the Chamber, you know, when they invest $1 investment in sports-related tournaments, tennis, baseball, softball, whatever, when they invest in that event, they're returning $70. They're for every dollar they spend, they're getting 70 back. Huge return. Huge. I don't know who wouldn't want that kind of investment.
Exactly.
So you bring up sports because I think when my kids were younger, we left out of town, but when we did have baseball tournaments locally, we played out at those parks, and honestly, it was kind of a little embarrassing.
Yes.
Sorry, Mayor, it was from the city standpoint.
We're working on it.
Because we would bring these entities or baseball from Lubbock, Amarillo, El Paso, Dallas, and they would be here, and so having a nice complex would work, and investment in that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and let me touch, you did mention the payoff. So that 4B, here, what you'll be hearing as we come before you to talk about the 4B, because I've gotten in front of several groups in recent months to talk about the 4B and what their thoughts will be about the election. And a lot of people don't know what the 4B, what it stands for, and how it works. They don't know why the 4B came in place and how it developed the sports complex and how the bond works. As you heard Corey say, we could pay it off anytime between now and 2023. Once the council, if they decide to move forward, we would set a date to have an election. I would like to do this next year, probably the fall of next year, have this election. So spend all next year visiting with you, the citizens, on this Type B tax and how it works, why we would pay it off, how much longer would we collect on it. If we paid it off early, how much would we have coming in? What is it going to take to continue with the operation and maintenance? We've done a lot of the major capital expenditures thus far. We put in the new scoreboard, the seats, we'll have to put in a new turf. A new turf has to go in about every 6 years, 7 years. But most of the major capital expenditures have taken place in recent years, so probably for the next 5 or 6 years, we're in pretty good position. But there will be a lot of educating that needs to take place to understand about the 4B and how it, again, pays off, what would we reserve, why would we want to pay it off, and the benefit that it can have citywide. So we're looking forward to having that discussion with everyone.
That's good. I think from a community standpoint, they're going to want to hear that.
Yes.
They're going to hear, do we have a project in place, and what does that look like?
But just remember, it's just a quarter.
Yeah, it's just a quarter. That's true. That's funny. All right. So that's 4B, and I think that there's opportunity for that, for quality of play, so we're excited over the next year to hear kind of what the city has in store for that. Kind of going back to the economy, kind of moving into a different topic. The economy, the TV reporter was asking, so are we in a downturn? I'm not an economist. Yes, we're all the economic indicators show that we're slowing down, but we're still at a peak. But this morning I read the paper. I was quite frankly overwhelmed with the idea that our economic growth in Midland from the oil and gas industry is 60 to 70% of our economic growth. That is huge. And Texas as a whole is only 10 to 12% relied on oil and gas. And Houston is only 20%. And I say only, it's still big.
It's huge.
But Midland, 60 and 70%, we've got to diversify. I mean, and and the city's doing things of that nature. In fact, ironically speaking, MDC just approved a new development agreement with a new tubular company for the oil stream to come in. So tell us a little bit about what are we doing to diversify?
Sure. Well, great question, and it's been a very good discussion for many years. But oil and gas industry, and I always say that is our backbone. It's our hub, and it's done tremendous work and benefited our community in so many ways. But we elected the taxpayers to create the Type A, the 4A sales tax, which is really our economic arm of Midland. It helps us to go out and recruit companies that can diversify our economy, but it also helps local companies. If you are a manufacturing company here or a welding company and need to expand your company, this quarter-cent sales tax, this economic sales tax, these dollars could help you do that and grow your company and keep your company here in Midland. How do you diversify Midland? We're out here in the desert. We're self-sustained. We have to kind of do our own work, which is great because we don't need the state and federal government to help us. We can do our own, and we've always done a good job. And we have these tools in place that help us do that. The 4A, the 4B, the hotel, motel. These are great tools to help diversify the economy. And I truly believe that the council has done a fantastic job of bringing in the hotel industry, for example. When we brought in the hotel industry, that's a good example, we were able to now handle the oil and gas when it has their boom. We're able to handle the sporting industry when we take that 4B and are able to improve our parks and get tournament facilities here. We're now improving our hotel and motel industry. The restaurant industry, there's not a whole lot of lakes to go to in Midland, so you go eat and you go to the movie, which is a good time. Good food in Midland, Texas. Thank you.
Especially in a restaurant?
Mexican food's real tasty.
Here.
Yeah, we love Mexican food. And but the one that I'm very proud, and again, as I stated, I get to go statewide and give some speeches about Midland and its success, but Who would have thought that we would have been able to recruit the aerospace industry to Midland, Texas? Our international airport, which is already a jewel of an airport in our city, in our backyard, that we own and has done so much work for us economically, but now it's the International Air and Space Port. What that means is, yes, thank you.
That's good stuff.
Yes. I'm very proud and excited to say that the Midland Development Corporation, the staff, the city staffs, the chambers, brought in 2 companies, Xcore, Lynx, the shuttle company, and Orbital Outfitters. Orbital Outfitters is the manufacturing of the spacesuits and has the altitude chambers that we've been hearing about. And so, what does this mean, Corey? It means that we have new engineering jobs, we have new welding jobs, we have a new opportunity to go into the satellite business. We're going to create a space park out there that is going to be very unique and very dynamic for the Permian Basin. It will work with the colleges. We'll probably be able to set up some kind of curriculum and train these types of students. The oil and gas or any industry can be able to use the altitude chambers. They're very advanced in technology, not only in this area but worldwide. And so we're excited about just what the space park is going to do out there. I also like to talk about, we learned a lot from the oil and gas industry, the fracking technology that they're doing and the horizontal drilling, all of that new technology. Same applies to the water. We are in the forefront of getting ahead of the water game because of technology. That kind of diversifies, as I stated, water coming in. So we're always looking, we're always working. People say, well, why don't you bring that business? Well, it doesn't work that way. We get out there and we're lobbying to try to bring companies, and not so much competitive businesses. Tenaris, I had a call this morning saying, you brought in a competition. And I'm like, no, what we brought in was, for $2 million, we brought a company that's investing $36 million that are going to bring jobs and benefits to a community who could always use them. And so it's exciting to be able to get out there and talk about Midland, Texas and the opportunities that we offer. We got a great school system. We got great colleges, universities. Our sister city, Odessa, is right there. We have to work together.
Yeah, that's good. Tourism it's an industry in and of itself, and we've spoken a little bit about how important that is and what kind of money tourism brings to our economy. So they're staying in hotels, they're spending money at the restaurants, they're buying things at the retail places. So our local businesses really benefit if we can recruit and create a tourism industry and things for people like to come to. Although Doug Russell may be on a small scale, a neat little water park, it did bring people in from the outside to our local economy. So the more things we can do like that, I think is very beneficial. And in downturns and things of that nature, there's other things that we're doing that help create and spur.
Well, and another great example is the Wagner Noel. Today they celebrate 4 years in existence, and look at all the economic impact they have brought into our community, not only Midland, but Odessa and the surrounding communities. Top-notch shows, ones to be proud of. We don't talk a lot about arts in Midland, and it is a whole nother industry that we need to start bringing to the top. We have a lot of great museums. The Petroleum Museum is going through a remodel right now, and just the impact that they do for their own industry, teaching those workers in the oil and gas industry that they're able to go out there. There's a new engineering school coming to the Permian Basin. I guarantee they're going to be using the Petroleum Museum. But we have wonderful museums. We have wonderful art. We just don't bring it out, and so get ready. That's coming, I guess.
Good. Proposition 7. You talked about roads earlier. Proposition 7 passed overwhelmingly for state highways. But what does that mean for Midland? Who are you working with to make sure that money that we voted yes on actually comes to us in the way of I-20? Believe it or not, Andrews Highway is a state highway. The city really can't touch that necessarily. They have to go work with the Texas Department of State Transportation. So what are we doing to make sure some of that money comes back to us?
This is an ongoing conversation, and Midland, Odessa have to fight tooth and nail to get every dollar they can from the state to help us with this road construction. Proposition 7, it passed, very successful, just like Proposition 1. My understanding, anything over $25 billion, then we begin to see $2.5 billion back into roads. Again, I can't stress enough that if our oil and gas industry hits $70, $75 barrel oil, and we begin to see the influx of traffic, new people moving in again, and all that comes to my mind and that really bothers me and hurts me is the fatalities that we have on our roads, the accidents, the time that we lose on our roads. It is vitally important that anybody and everybody that has a chance to lobby to our legislators who can make a call, make a statement about funding, that we deserve our fair portion. We do. This community, Midland, Texas, is a major player in the state of Texas. Economically, what we do, as you stated, 60% of the oil and gas industry, that tax that goes into the comptroller's office, we don't get the way the formula works, we don't get our fair share back. So roads is a very top priority in this community. Council, our legal staff, our lobbyists are working hard to try to get us every dollar we can. John Love, our councilman, is the president of Motran, which is a combination, it's a regional with Midland, Odessa, and the TxDOT to talk about our infrastructure. How do we complete Loop 250? How much is it going to cost? When are we going to see that completion? A lot of citizens don't realize this, but a lot of the roads in Midland, like Andrews Highway, Midland Drive, Wall Street, Big Spring, those are state highways, and the city is not allowed to really touch them. We have to get permission, and so take care of them. If they're your roads, take care of them. Not too long ago, there was dialogue that maybe we should give those back to the city or let the city handle them. Do your part, TxDOT.
Yeah.
Do your part. We're doing our part, and each of these roads that we build or we get a part of, we have to come up with funding from the city to pay our portion. So it's very challenging, it's very frustrating, but we don't give up. We can't give up because this community, it was growing at 5-7%. Today we're probably growing at 1.5 to 2%. Our population chart, I don't know if you've seen it, but we have a population chart that shows our population since 1950, except for one small time, has continued to increase every year. Folks, in 2028, we might be at 180,000 people. We have got to build roads and do our part.
Roads are important. People complain and griping about, the potholes, and the city just did a major, reinvestment in some of those potholes. But the community has got to get involved if they want
Yes.
to, from our highways and all. When we have leaders that know the legislature,
right.
and John Love involved in that, but it's a call to action again. I go back to that event. It's a call to action. People to be educated. People to have influence on our government. Need to put their 2 cents in on anything west of 35 is forgotten about from the state perspective. So we've got to have an influence.
And Speaker Craddock, he does. I mean, we all know the work he's done, but he's one man, and there's only so much he can do. And so it's really important that we stay engaged and do our part.
Great. Last question, and then
Sure.
for this event. Then I want to kind of leave you some time for closing remarks from that perspective. I just want to talk about the health and wellness. I would be removed and remiss if I didn't do this because of my involvement in healthcare. The health and wellness of the community. It's important, and the healthier the community is, the more productive they are. They're at work, they don't take time off, et cetera, et cetera. We have our own challenges with health and wellness. In fact, the state of Texas comes from a well-being standpoint in the United States is like number 26 on the list. Midland, Texas, with the Robert Wood Foundation, we're number 43 on the list of the counties in the state as being the healthiest community in Texas. So the couple, about a year ago or so, my boss, Russell Myers, was working with our board saying, where do we want to be? What do we want to do? The board says, you know what? We want to be the healthiest community in Texas. And we said, okay. So that's our new vision, and that's where we're headed. And the hospital feels some ownership there. But we're going to have to work with the city on that, and we have worked with the city, and then there's plans. So we did the wellness walk with the city and MISD.
That's right.
And there are things that we're going to be doing in the future for the community to be on the health and wellness piece. From your perspective, what can the city do though in collaborating with the community to make a healthier environment?
Sure. So we do appreciate the hospital taking the lead on creating that new wellness program. And it was a very successful Saturday, other than the rain. But
We're okay with rain.
yeah,
But
yeah, we'll take the rain. But you know, it was amazing to see the community, all the medical practices out there, the nutrition centers, the workout facilities. You don't realize how healthy, the healthy attitude that we have out there. Again, from our part, from the cities, from our Parks Division, we have some great managers. I'm just going to say Lori Williams and Tina Giles. I mean, under their leadership, we have really created a master plan that identifies our parks, our hike and bike trails.
talk to us about that.
Sure.
I wanted to come back to that real quick.
Okay. And before I forget, I wanted to mention, and then our wildlife, I-20 Wildlife. If you've never been to the I-20 Wildlife Park, you would be amazed at the habitation that takes out there, the trail that's out there, all of the beautiful wonders, natural wonders. We have hidden secrets, and they need to be brought out, and that's what we're trying to do. We have a master hike and bike trail system plan that what we would like to do is take the trails that are in our parks and eventually be able to loop them together to create a larger trail system, possibly even take it downtown. And so to do that, we work with transportation. When we're building new roads, how do we create the road to where it has a hike and bike trail? Those are the conversations that we're talking about. Almost every weekend now we see runs, 5K runs, 10K runs. We need bicycle riders. We need to give them some paths to be able to ride their bikes. I even had a thought, and I haven't shared this with anybody, but you could even close downtown on the weekends for certain periods and give them an opportunity to run and do bikes with freedom, which would be nice. So it's a good conversation. It's a fun conversation. It's one that I think the Chamber not too long ago did a survey, and the number one thing that came on top is we need hike and bike trails. And so we take that to heart. And how do we participate? What can we do? The groups, the associations that are out there, I mean, they send me articles all the time saying that they do it in this city and the economic impact that it has, and it truly does. So we're in good position. We're flat. We don't have a whole lot of hills, so it doesn't burn, and we can keep up. But you know, well, so that's the hike and bike trail.
We have wind.
Yeah, we do.
We'll
take that.
That's a flat man's hill.
Yes,
So.
yes. So well, you know, if we can get, and that's what we have to do, Corey, is we have to have the hospital, the city, the county, anybody, bring everybody together at the table, kind of like this conversation, sharing what we're doing, because who do we know that might have a great idea out there that you can bring to us?
Yeah, very good. Well, I thank you for spending your time with me and answering my questions. And I think I actually gathered some questions from some community leaders, and some of those we hit on. So I thank you for answering those. I hope we covered really just a high level of
Yes.
things that are on the community's minds, and there's a lot to be made and had. And I really encourage the community and leaders to get involved and to educate themselves what's going on. So I'd really kind of like to just leave this now in your ball court,
Thank
kind
you.
of as closing remarks and kind of setting some expectations or what you want from us.
Sure. And I wasn't sure if I was going to have a few minutes, so I made some notes in case I did. But let me just say, it has been an honor to serve for the last 2 years as mayor. And if you don't realize this, we are very blessed. And I use that word almost every day. We are in good position. Yes, the times are a little slower today, but that's okay. We were going in at $100 barrel oil, which is almost 100 miles an hour. We were growing too fast, and it was a challenging. Sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. But they were good challenges. A lot of people ask about the labor situation and the unemployment. Yes, we've had the lowest unemployment in the nation for the last 5 years. In the state for the last 5 years, in the nation, we've probably been in the top 10. Today, somebody said, you know, Midland dropped to 23. Really? That's awesome. In the nation, we're number 23 on unemployment. That is good news. That's not bad news. Folks, the workforce is strong. Yes, we have the oil and gas industry has laid off, and yes, there has been workers that have come into the community. But the answer to that is we needed them. Being in the restaurant industry, the hotel industry, the retail, all of the developments taken, we absorbed those workers. The city, it needs about 1,200 people to operate the city. we got down to about 900. So we were able to absorb about another 150 to 200. The county needed workers, the road contractors, the housing developers. There were jobs out there, and there's still jobs out there. They're not great paying jobs, and they may not be great benefits, but they're jobs, and they're able to pay the bills. And that's what's keeping the economics going. The disposable income is not as strong as it used to be. Does it hurt me, back pocket? Yes. But the answer to that is, and we had this discussion yesterday in City Council with the Transportation Division, is I'm going to have to step up my game. We have to be business friendly. We have to open our arms. We have to make sure that we're answering your calls and giving you a good return on your tax dollars. The city's clean. Your service is getting delivered. The water's turned on. That's how we're going to continue, and we're going to get through 2016, in my opinion, so that we can be ready for 2017. Because we saw, as Ray Perryman stated today in the paper, we might have gotten past a little bit of this, but 2017, and you heard me say this, the ribbon cuttings are coming. We still see development. We still see dirt moving, and I'm very excited, and it's an exciting time. We needed a slow time. Jose and transportation need to get these roads built. Water department, you know, we're very short-staffed in that department, and we have to come up with new ideas of how to keep up with the growth and the development. We have, it takes a team of 50 in that department to keep up with the water and sewer taps, the broken lines, working 24 hours a day, on call always. That division got down to, I think, like 20, 25. It was very hard. So we had to outsource, and we had to come up with, so we need this time to set aside, regroup, rethink, and get ready, because Midland, 60% oil and gas, it will come back, in my opinion. Not in the industry, but what I'm learning from the technology and the fracking and the horizontal drilling, it's coming back. The oil is here. The infrastructure is here. So you got to come to Midland, Texas to get it. So I would like to talk about 3 areas real quickly that I worked on passionately and the council worked on passionately. The first one was, and you've heard me talk about a world-class city. And these 3 things that I'm getting ready to talk about, in addition to everything you've heard today, is to create that world-class city environment. We have a world-class city, but we have to keep working at it. On our first city council retreat, when we got out of it, the number one thing that came out of there and what we heard was, our city is dirty. Our city is very, very dirty. There is trash everywhere, plastic bags, people are dumping large debris, nobody cares about the community anymore. What happened? And so we took it upon ourselves, the city council, to say that we're going to address that problem. I left that city council retreat. I formed a task force called Not in My Town. We worked with Keep Midland Beautiful, the school district, the superintendent, his team, the county, the judge, the commissioners, and their team. We had the nonprofit world. We had individuals who have been working passionately. For example, a Buddy Sipes, who's been adamant about keeping the city clean in downtown when he's down there all the time. Not proud of it. What are we going to do? What are you going to do, Mayor? So Not in My Town was formed. It was a movement. It was an initiative to get a team together and address the problem. We knew that we had to start with education. We had to hit the citizens. Quit throwing trash in the back of your trucks. Quit throwing your trash out the window. We had to get into the schools and talk to the elementary kids, put on coloring contests, talk about why you don't trash, why you don't throw your trash out. Go tell your parents to quit throwing trash out. Give them a little lecture.
Cigarette butts included.
Thank you. And then the high school kids, you know, at lunch they go get their fast food and they get back and they just throw it out the window. Well, we asked the superintendent, can you put out more dumpsters? Can you help us in this? And he did a fantastic job of getting more dumpsters out. We talked to our parks division. Can you help go pick up those dumpsters that we're putting out? And they did a fantastic job of stepping up and picking up the trash cans. We talked to the convenience stores. The trash cans were always overflowing. What can you do? How can you help us get the city clean? So we had a big conversation. It was an educational conversation. Then it followed up with a media campaign. We created a commercial, Not in My Town. It won an award, but more importantly, it was in your house. It was on the Grande Stadium video board. It was at the Scarborough Sports Complex video board. We had Lamar Advertising give us free space and put on the billboards, do not litter, do not throw trash, be proud, join the movement. And so we did really well. But the big success that came out of it, and I'm very excited to say, is under the city, Keep Midland Beautiful, we had a team that would go out on the weekends or certain days of the week and go pick up the large debris, mattresses and couches and refrigerators that were in the alley. Now this is in 2014 when the unemployment was at 2.8%, 3%, and it was hard to find somebody to do that. So what we said is, Sheriff, County, we need the inmates. Let them pay their price to society by cleaning this city up. We got a jailer trained. City council gave me some funds. County gave some funds. You know, we worked together, and we went and got a trailer trained. And then we had inmates sign up to get out there to pick up. We started with one team, and they started weekends, and then eventually went to 5 days, 6 days a week. Then we added a second team. So we had 2 jailers with as many inmates that would sign up on the loop, on the roadways into Midland, picking up trash. And I'm hoping that next year in January, we might have 3 inmate teams that will keep this city clean. So city's doing their part. We put a program together. We need you to do our part, and we're very proud of where we're at.
Yep.
Another issue that you heard Speaker Craddock talk about, and he had no success at the state level, was payday lending. Payday lending loaners, companies, were making an influx. They were making a huge impact in our community. Payday lending are predatory lenders who will come after you in times that when your economy is down, you need money, and you can get that loan very quickly. They were popping up every corner. I was tired of seeing that. I was tired of hearing the stories of our own citizens suffering, never being able to get out of the debt cycle. I'm not proud of it, and I wasn't going to have it. And so I'm sorry that Speaker Craddock and the state legislators were not able to convince everybody at that level, but we could do something here locally, and we did. And I applaud my city council for getting behind this, and I applaud the citizens for getting behind this, because today we have a little bit of control of this. You can't just come in here and pop up a payday lending store. You have to abide by some guidelines that the city has laid out, stating that we're going to make sure that if you did take a loan out of there, and you are seeing yourself get in a cycle, that you're going to get educated from that store before you get the next loan, and that it's going to be based on your income. So we're very proud of being able to control some of the economics in that capacity. That was a very good success story. And then the most recent one is the no texting and driving. And folks, this was it was a very good conversation that we had in the community. The council held 4 town hall meetings, actually, including the city council meetings. We engaged with the public. Why do we not need a no texting ban? Well, you heard me say we were growing at 5, 6, 7%. Our population was increasing dramatically. Cars were getting on the road. Oil truck traffic. Some of these new drivers never ever been next to a semi or an oil truck on the interstate or in our streets here. It was getting dangerous. We had the record fatalities in 13, 14. We didn't see a decline happening there. We had accidents, which were slowing down people getting to work. You had texters just sitting at the red lights, not getting off their phone and holding up traffic and causing problems. So enough was enough. And we decided, the council, to let's get engaged with the community, let's talk about it, see what's going on. You know, it was a hard conversation, but at the end of the day, here's what it was for me is, let's keep our roads safe. Let's keep each one of us safe. And more importantly, our children and our grandchildren. You know, I was thinking about myself as I was making that vote. You know, I've been able to be the mayor. I've been able to own my own restaurant. I've been able to live the American dream. I want the same for your kids and grandkids as they get in those cars and not have to worry about some idiot texting and driving and killing them. And so we did something about it. And let me just say on that, our police force, I know there's been a lot of conversation. I support them 100%. They're going to work on a very slow scale right now to educate the citizens that are driving and help inform them that we have a texting ban and what you can and cannot do. The municipal court, our judges out there understand. They've already are working with the schools. They just finished a texting coloring contest, and so they're working with the schools and the first-time drivers. Very proud of our court system for doing that. So again, when you see those officers, not only thank them and support them for that, but thank them for everything they do. It's Blue Lives Matter. We just had a thanking out at the Friendship Market with Mayor Turner in Odessa to thank our public safety, and they do a tremendous job for us out here in Midland, Texas. So in closing, let me just say, we've talked a lot about economics and we talked a lot about things that are happening. Yes, next year you will see a lot of discussion about the 4B. And it's a very good tool that can benefit this community in many ways. When you see that discussion, please come to a town hall meeting. Please get involved and understand how that quarter cent, how it can make a difference in this community. Downtown, live, work, and play. We have made tremendous strides in improving our downtown within a 14 block. Susie South 40's down here, and they're very successful. We're talking about mobile food court park down here. We're talking about improving our sidewalks, our roadways. Just this one block with a new hotel, Centennial Plaza, and of course the Midland Center. It is a conversation that needs to take place. World-class city needs a Midland Center. So think about it, get involved. Thank you for everything you do for this community. We're very blessed with all of the volunteerism, the nonprofits, the church. I don't quit saying it because just today I did a ribbon cutting for a Feast of Sharing. 600 volunteers that will feed thousands and thousands of people who need a meal, who want to be loved and touched. That's what we're all about. That's our culture in Midland, Texas, and we don't need to lose it. So thank you for everything you do. Our city council is always here for you. Our staff's always here for you. Please holler and call, and it's been a pleasure serving you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Corey. Thank you. It's been good.
Mayor,
Thank you.
we thank you for your service and everything you've done. Great job, energetic today. We from the citizens, we really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
You're about to leave.